It's Red Eye Radio. Gary McNamara and Eric Harley talk about everything from politics to social issues and news of the day. Whether you're up late or you're just starting your day, welcome to the show. From the Uniden America Studios, this is Red Eye Radio.
All across America, we are Red Eye Radio. He is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. All right, still a couple more audio cuts from yesterday. Other stories we want to bring up, but these audio cuts are just too good because, Trump using the term crazy just drove the Democrats crazy yesterday. Trump using the term crazy drove them insane.
Yeah.
And we've played so many different audio cuts, and we had advised the Republicans in general a few weeks ago start using where they stand on these, where there's no critical thinking, where there's no thought process, and that would be number one, on open borders, on sanctuary cities, on the radical transgender movement. Go with them. Yep. Because those opinions that they hold are crazy.
Yep.
And every time you say the word crazy, explain why. Just don't do what they do, which is call Trump Hitler, and people say, wait a minute, I don't see the tie-in. I may hate Trump. I don't like him personally, they may say. But the fact is, I don't see the tie-in to Hitler.
Yeah.
And then they can't explain it, and they're not forced to explain it.
Right.
Republicans should embrace what the president said and go, no, here's why they're crazy. Now, here's what's happening. And this may just be the beginning of it, but I thought it might happen. And that's members of the media who understand, because they're under cross-examination every day. One of the things about Democrat politicians, they can stay away from the cross-examination. They can make their statements and walk off.
Mm-hmm.
Or they can be asked a question. But when you're on these panel discussions, eventually you have to defend yourself. And so this is an example yesterday of a liberal journalist, and this is CNN's Sochi Hinojosa, with Scott Jennings, as she claims Democrats are becoming moderate on the issue of borders and illegal immigration.
Right.
And that's what they have to do, though. As the Democrats still continue to have their insane opinions on it, the media simply claims it doesn't exist because they can't defend it. Here we go. Listen to this.
Democrats have started to go, they're more moderate on immigration. You don't hear them so much talking about, progressive immigration policies because people understand that Democrats have lost trust on that issue.
Whoa. Sochi, abolish ICE.
Democrats are not
CBP.
for abolish ICE. I'm sorry. They're not.
I hate to be the person to break the news to you. That's where your party is.
That is not where the party is at all.
It's where your candidates are, and it's where the candidates who are winning primaries are right now.
I will say that my home state of Texas, what you will hear from candidates there is essentially that the border must
What's Jasmine Crockett going to say?
That's what she is saying. The border must be secure.
No, she's not.
That we
Abolish
do
ICE.
everything to keep people.
That's the baseline Democrat
That
position.
is not the baseline Democratic position.
If you polled it right now, does anybody here doubt over half Democrats would say
I've seen the Democratic polling. The Democratic polling right now says that people are not for abolishing ICE, and neither are Democrats.
I've already mentioned seeing her ad in Texas. The first ad I saw for her was impeach Nome, get rid of ICE.
Right. I mean, so she has to lie.
Right.
So that's what the media, they're being forced. We need to lie about where Democrats stand because we know we can't sell it anymore.
Now, I did make the point along the way that I had not seen that ad in a while. She went to a high school marching band, looked like they were at a football game, kind of ad where she's, chummy with everybody in the community and didn't really say anything. The first ad was very clear. Get rid of ICE, impeach Kristi Noem.
So, if you get, after the primaries are over, they may start saying that. Why? And maybe this is what the media is doing. Maybe that's what Sochi doing. I know that they're not going to do it. They're going to claim that it's the opposite that they are for. Remember, the Democrats were never for open borders 10 years ago.
Right.
As we know, they have all changed their opinion 180 degrees from where they were. So, yeah, if we get to the midterm and they realize they can't sell it, they may go back to where they used to be, which was we've got to pretend we're in the middle, but we know they don't mean it.
Right. Right.
We all know that's where they don't, that's not where they stand. And then what does the far left do if they start making these statements? All right, let's go to another one. And when Dr. Phil was in his prime, he was not political at all. Nobody knew where he was.
Right.
He really came from Oprah, right?
Yes.
I'm going to make sure when it came from Oprah, he's not Oprah's son.
No, not literally came from Oprah, but started.
Business-wise.
His fame began on her show.
Right. And so he was not political. Well, listen to him analyze Ilhan Omar. Here we go.
Let's listen to some of what she said.
To have a democracy, a beacon of hope for the world to now be turned into one of the worst countries where the military are in our streets without any regard for people's constitutional rights.
Wait. Stop here. You can't make this up. Who are we talking about here? Omar fled Somalia, a failed state, a country ravaged by civil war, corruption, and poverty, and she spent years in a Kenyan refugee camp. I hate that for her. I really do. She resettled in the U.S. as a refugee. So happy for her. She was given housing, afforded education, opportunity, freedom. She became a citizen in 2000 at 17. Again, so happy for her. Thank God she escaped that terrible life. And she was elected to Congress, one of the first Muslim women in the House. The American dream. She has every reason to be thankful. Is she? Not even almost. Instead, she spends her time bashing the very country that saved her and her family. Here's more of what I consider garbage.
I mean, I grew up in a dictatorship. And I don't even remember ever witnessing anything like that. To have a democracy, a beacon of hope for the world to now be turned into one of the worst countries.
How about just thank you?
I think, Gary, my final words for Miss Omar would be, in the words of the late, great Tom Petty, you don't have to live like a refugee. You've made it.
And then we've got this this week. This is a focus group. And this is I wish everybody could actually look at it, but it's a young white man talking about minorities can't get a voter ID. And a black woman on the panel responds. This is just great. Here we go. All right.
We all agree on that point. I just think that the reality is that an act like the SAVE Act is very likely more aimed at voter suppression and at keeping key demographics that the Republican Party does not want voting to not show out and vote. I think very often minority demographics.
That's not true.
No. So this is the thing where the suggestion is it's going to keep the black vote down. I've got two black panelists here. Ajwa?
That's not true.
Do you have ID and proof of citizenship?
Yeah, and if I need a copy of my birth certificate, it's just a matter of going online or going up to the department and asking for it and showing my information to get it. I mean, to say that it would negatively affect a minority group because they're somehow not educated enough to get these documents is completely outrageous.
Annie?
There you go.
Yeah. It's a very simple equation for anybody.
Well, what we got this week, because of Newsom, it was Newsom speaking to the group, and whether it was, remember, you had some people jump on immediately and say, he was insulting just blacks. Well, look, understand, and they were said, no, it was a general audience. Okay, fine, then he was saying everybody is stupid who votes for Democrats.
Right.
But the point that insult, because he was trying to make the case, I'm dyslexic, you're just stupid.
Yeah.
I'm dyslexic, and so I don't know I don't know where my birth certificate is because I'm dyslexic,
right.
is what the accusation is of what he was attempting to communicate.
Yeah.
And because he was saying he can't read.
Right.
And then he was saying, now, that makes me like you, as if you're a bunch of idiots. And then who else came out? Oh, yeah, Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
Bernie Sanders doesn't know how to find his birth certificate. Gavin Newsom doesn't know how to find his birth certificate. So now you've got these major Democrat politicians coming out and stating, we're idiots, you're idiots. We're the party of idiots. We are truly the putty idiot party.
High five. Yeah, you're not just crazy. You're a bunch of morons. Because in that moment, if you can't think it through, because you're thinking about what you're going to say. By the way, I assume they're thinking about what they're going to say. Because you're going to float this out there. You're going to actually say, I don't even know where my birth certificate is. The moment I say something stupid like that, you won't have to ask me to get off the stage. I'm just going to unbutton my lapel mic, and I'm going to go, you know what? I quit. I got to go because that was stupid.
Yeah. So now they're trying to form it. They're like, okay, we can't accuse. All right, the accusation is we're accusing our own party and the people of our party of being idiots. How do we get out of this? How do we save ourselves? Oh, let's tell them we're idiots too. That's how we do it. This is where. And, when we played earlier, again, and we may play it for the next year, the snoring video with AOC, with her boyfriend snoring in the background. The reason that I think it is so important, it's humorous, but it is very telling. It does communicate something. For her to put that out shows there's no self-awareness.
Yeah.
Because she didn't go back. She had to hear the snoring. She didn't go back and listen to it, and she just put it out. But you think of everything. You look at Gavin Newsom. You look at Bernie Sanders. No self-awareness at all about what they're communicating to the people. There is no self-awareness. State of the Union address. No self-awareness of how that looked. When they get in the moment, there's no. And did you see some of the? Oh my gosh, the State of the Union. What were those characters that were on the stage? Did you see that?
Yeah, I don't know.
The characters had, and you compare the two, and you're just like, these people are nuts.
Yeah.
These people are crazy.
Yeah.
And the more you bring, and I do see that the media, you see Sochi on CNN now saying, well, they don't believe any of these things.
Right.
Because I think the liberal media is finally figuring out we can't sell this.
Well, we can't argue this for them.
We can't argue it? Yeah, we can't sell it. We can't argue it.
There's no way for us to sit here and argue this for them, which, by the way, by saying they're not for these things, you're going even further. It's harder to say, well, it's like Warnock in Georgia years ago who said, he's a Democrat. I don't even know any Democrats who are against voter ID. He said that. Well, you can't get away with that. And you can't make the case that they're not for that. This is the problem that the surrogates are going to have in the media. You can't make the case. That's why you got a couple of them. We played Uyghur. Mm-hmm. But there have been a few of them in the last, throughout the day, basically, yesterday, in response going, yeah, he's right. It's a little crazy.
Well, I think Joy Behar yesterday tried to claim that Republicans are passing voter ID because they can't win legitimately and they want to cheat. The opposite of what,
Right.
like I said, that was another one where I went, my God, they're the putty party.
No,
they're the idiot putty from Seinfeld party.
She just took the justification, basically, for voter ID and just tried to turn it around in an absurd fashion. Wait, what? Because are you making the case now that it's easier to get a fake ID than a real ID? Because your side is saying it's hard to get an ID. Gavin Newsom doesn't even have one, apparently. And he's the governor of California. So what case are you making, Joy? Are you making the case that it's easier to get a fake ID than it is, to go out and get, because I don't even know where to get a fake ID. And remember, it's going to have to pass muster, and if you want to fly.
Remember when we had to get sheriffs? If you didn't have a license, you could get a sheriff's card to drink when the drinking age was 18. I remember people had sheriff's cards who didn't have license.
Wow, I didn't.
It was another form of ID in New York when I was in New York.
Okay, yeah.
Because remember, where I grew up in New York, I mean, it was, I was 18 across a lot of the country.
Yeah.
And the bar stayed open till 4.
All right. I don't think it was 18 when I was 18.
Yeah.
In Texas. So, yeah. Now, when I lived in Del Rio, we could go across to Acuna.
Yeah.
And they said drinking age? What's a drinking age?
And I'm still surprised because every, 6 months when I go to the doctor and he says, your liver is looking really good, I go, do you have the wrong blood test there?
Yeah. I like the comedian that says, hey, sober for 18 years. And then they applaud and he goes, no, the first 18.
We are Red Eye Radio.
Brought to you by FPPF, Fuel Power Max.
After fuel, an owner-operator's second biggest variable cost is tires. To save, get as much life out of them as possible with good habits. Maintain proper inflation. It's free and easy, yet it's the highest saving maintenance you can perform on the truck. Improper inflation is by far the greatest reason tires fail early. Perform routine maintenance. If a technician can by hand initiate irregular movements in tie rod ends, kingpins, wheel bearings, and torque rods, that spells trouble. Fight irregular wear by replacing suspension components. On the steer axle, change your shocks at least as often as you change your tires. On the drive axle, replace shocks halfway through the tire's life, and when the tires are changed too. Finally, employ good driving habits. You have full control here. More conservative driving over rough surfaces helps reduce wear. Speeding, hard braking, curbing, and tight turns cause tires to wear fast. On the other hand, steady acceleration, braking, and steering can extend the life, saving a bundle. Owner-Operator Business 101 is provided by Overdrive's Partners in Business program. Go to overdriveonline.com to the Partners in Business section on the website for more details on this and many other topics.
Brought to you by Shell Rotella, with advanced synthetic technology is designed to help keep your rig running with more mileage and less maintenance.
Coming up, more with Gary McNamara and Eric Harley. It's Red Eye Radio.
We're Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. All right, here's John Fetterman, Senator Fetterman, yesterday on CNN. All right, here we go. All right, this is great.
Some people were surprised you wore a suit and tie.
I'm not sure why that's news. Yes, I do. I do dress like a slob.
Yes, I do dress like a slob. But I played that for another reason. The polling on his approval rating.
Yeah.
All right. Ready for his approval rating?
Okay.
Republicans, 73 to 18 positive, plus 55%. Democrats, 62 to 22 against. Independents, 48 to 37 approval. More evidence the Democrats are crazy. They view Fetterman as a radical.
Yes. Full on.
Right there.
Catch Red Eye Radio live every night on the Red Eye Radio app, available in the App Store. Red Eye Radio.
We are Red Eye Radio. He is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Download our Red Eye Radio app today, and you can listen when and where you choose. A couple of things here. First, this one story when we talk about, what the strategy would be, from the United States. And what type of war would you have with Iran? Because it's not going to be the typical war. Not a lot of people have talked about, this. I mean, what would the strategy be? How would you militarily accomplish your goals? Well, what is your goal? I saw somebody say yesterday, I think it was a Republican, say, well, the goal's not regime change. Of course it is.
Yeah, it is. It's the only reason the conversation is going on.
Right. You make a deal with Iran, they're not going to uphold it. We all know that.
Right.
But we said, what are you trying to do? There was a Fox story yesterday about this report that had come out that the Supreme Leader runs a state within a state through a secret 4,000-person network.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that report's been out there. The CIA knows about it.
Yeah.
So the whole point is, as we have talked about, this would not be a traditional war. You're not trying to completely destroy the country. What you're trying to do is get rid of the people in charge. And if you've got this network of loyalists, as they call the government within the government, that make sure that everything gets done, it's who do you take out? How do you cut off? The Ayatollah may be the head of the snake, but there's a lot of heads beneath that keep the snake going. How do you target them?
This is my crabgrass roots analogy that I made last week.
It was, yes.
Before. And you need to know how many roots you've got, what the root system actually is, and how deep it goes. And that's it. Because you can take off the top, your problem is coming back. And if you're 4,000 deep, you have to assume that 4,000 comes with maybe another 10,000 or 20,000 that are loyal to the 4,000. So that's the problem. It's a connections issue as to where those loyalists believe it's going to land, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you come in and they believe, oh, man, the U.S. has got us, right? Again, this is just generally speaking on the theory. A lot of those loyalists will fall away going, I don't want to be a part of this. Those who truly believe in the depths of their soul in the regime and what the regime wants to do and the future of Iran as the regime sees it, and the ones who believe they can be part of the power system going forward and don't believe the U.S. is going to be controlling them. Those are the ones that will be most problematic, and you're looking at a huge group in Iran. That may not sound like a lot, but when you're talking about your mission of weeding all of them out, I don't know how they do it.
Right, because the fourth, if you look at it and say, well, those are the people that are in charge of all the government functions from a federal level, you're talking about a country with 93 million people.
Mm-hmm.
So 4,000 in there. But if the 4,000 are radicals loyal to the Ayatollah, let me give you an example. I'm not comparing the United States to Iran, but in our constitutional republic that we have, we saw in Trump's first term those inside the government that worked against Trump.
Mm-hmm.
That was the whole concept of deep state.
Right.
You have a government within the government that doesn't like the head, and you saw what happened there.
Right.
From the CIA to the FBI to many civil servants, the IRS. They didn't like Trump. They didn't like Trump being in there, so they were going to do everything they can. Now, not to the extent that we see with the tens of thousands possibly being, murdered in there.
Yeah.
But the fact is, their goal was to completely defeat. And what you had, remember, when Trump became president, you then had the opposition party with the cooperation of people inside the government create the hoax that Trump colluded with Russia to hack the 2016 election. Completely false. So when you my point is to say, if that can happen in a constitutional republic, understand the job that you have at the United States, why the United States may be hesitant or trying to figure out how do we do this. So if we whoever becomes it, how do we get free elections if you have thousands in this core of the Iranian government that will be working against you each and every day to sabotage what you want to do?
Right.
That's a challenge that you have.
Right.
I don't know what the answer is.
I don't either, because either way, I mean, you look at it and say, okay, as you just mentioned a minute ago, a deal with some kind of nuclear deal agreement, number one, is never going to be enforceable with a country like Iran, with a regime in place. And you're never going to have that. They will know what they're doing. But in an open agreement situation, it has to be fluid with, again, being able to inspect sites. And that's just laughable when it comes to Iran. That's not going to happen. So you would rather that as opposed to going to war with Iran. But then you think, okay, you can't enforce it. So then how do you stop it? Well, regime change really is the goal. It has to be the goal. You have to break the will, though, of this state within the state. And, we know that, of course, here in the States, our state within a state, or as we call it, the Pentaverate, the Rockefellers, the Colonel with his wee bitty eyes, the Clintons, all of, if you look at how deep that is, what a massive mission that would be. Because you can't just go in logistically and believe you're going to break the will of that 4,000, right? Which, again, I think is a larger number if you think of the loyalty to the 4,000, right? Just the loyalty alone on a morals level, on the future and culture and everything else of that country. So logistically, you're not going to be able to find the 4,000, as you set up really well, Gary. We can't trust that even with regime change, how do you know that 4,000 isn't working against you, that whoever is, right, even a temporary leader over and over again? I mean, Iran will make Venezuela and their so-called elections process look like kids play because, again, look what they're doing. They're killing their own citizens. So I don't know what the answer is either. I don't know logistically how you get either done. Best case scenario is for the Ayatollah to say, let me get on a plane with my family, and we're all going to go to Russia and live happily and quietly. But do you trust that? Even if it were to happen, no guns being fired, nothing. It just happened through agreement, which is not going to, I don't believe it's going to happen.
If you're willing to murder your own people, are you willing to actually fulfill that deal too?
Exactly.
So
either a nuclear deal or the Ayatollah leaving and regime and a peaceful regime change as agreed to by the Ayatollah. It's not trustable. I wouldn't trust it.
All right, quickly to tariffs. I found these two articles fascinating, and you haven't heard a lot about it after the president's speech. You really haven't heard a lot about it, but so far, and this would have been as yesterday. We heard about FedEx filing suit. 1,800 companies have filed suit.
Yeah.
The other interesting thing is, because this was fascinating, investment firms anticipating that the court would not side in Trump's failure have gone to many businesses who don't want to deal with the mess of how to collect or sue on their own, that are opting to sell the rights to any refunds that might be due. Now, these investment firms were already, before the court decision, buying up the rights to tariff refunds from businesses in recent months, prices were about 20 cents on the dollar before the ruling. After the ruling, they jumped to about 40 cents an hour, according to brokers involved.
40 cents on the dollar, you mean?
What did I say?
An hour.
Oh, 40 cents, you're right, on the dollar. On the dollar, according to the brokers involved in the trades. The question is, do you sell at 40 or 45% now, or a little more if the market changes, or do you hold out for 100% down the road? This is from Neil Seaton, Managing Director of Asset Enhancement Solutions, a financial advisory firm. He has brokered a handful of tariff claims with a total face value of $20 million for companies selling items including Christmas decorations, pharmaceuticals, and imported foods. Investors are, well, we'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
Investors are generally looking for claims that are around $10 million or more, meaning smaller businesses might have trouble unloading their refund rights. We had said that you're going to see lawyers get involved in this in organization. And, of course, lawyers are involved in this.
Right.
Because what they're saying is you don't have to worry about anything. You don't have lawyer fees. Just before the court ruling, we'll give you $2 million.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you and I were looking at each other going, I don't know if I'd want to be part of that before the court ruling. You know, I might, after the court ruling, but they were apparently selling to companies 20 cents on a dollar. So if a company says...
for the companies, it's a great deal.
Oh, yeah.
If you look at it for what it is. For the investment
Right.
firm, you're betting, it's a pretty big bet that the courts are going to go your way. That the value that you have, number one, your valuation set for each of your clients that you make an agreement with, right? So is it set properly, and will the court find that it's the same? So let's say this company, Acme Bricks, they lost $10 million, right? They have it on their books. And you go in and you say, we'll give you 4.5. And they're like, okay. And then the court comes back and says, no, you know what? We don't see $10 million. We see $2 million. So it's a big bet based on what the courts will find on valuation. In as to whether or not there will be refunds, I think overall, generally speaking, the answer is I think there will be. But also, you've got to get in line. 1,800 lawsuits.
1,800 companies
just
already.
So far.
That's outside of the investors.
So
of the investor
think
group.
about you're in line, and I believe this is going to take years and years and years and years.
One thing that it does show us, though, and again, I don't know what the valuation is, but the companies have come up with the valuation.
Mm-hmm. Their books.
Because, exactly, precisely what they believe they've lost.
Right.
The costs they've eaten, what they've paid in tariffs, what they've eaten, because there's a combination of that.
Yeah.
And they've been able to sell that in the capitalist market to these investment groups.
For the companies, it's a winner all day. I would do it if they're giving me 45 cents on the dollar, I would do it right now.
So would I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the investment group,
you and I were saying
that's a big gamble.
Yeah, you and I were going from the investment group. I don't know.
Right.
But if I'm the company and an investor comes to me and says,
here's a check.
What do you think you've lost? Well, here's what we've lost. Here are our books. All right, we'll give you 45 cents on a dollar
and
right
by the
now.
way, their process, I'm certain, includes going through their books. We have to have access to your books to come to a full agreement to see what you're going to have to show us, demonstrate to us just like you would in court. But if that's the case and you've got the book straight and here you go, the check and your 45%, 45 cents on the dollar, yes, that's a yes.
We are Red Eye Radio.
Get in touch with Red Eye Radio, toll free at 866-90-RED-EYE.
We are Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Look, everybody wants a piece. I've seen now the figures, anywhere between $133 billion and $200 billion. And you and I just went, oh, my gosh, trial lawyers will go crazy over stuff like this.
Yeah.
And if that type of money is available, and the U.S. Trade Court says it is, you've got now these investment companies coming in and telling companies, look, we'll give you 50 cents on a dollar. What do you believe you lost? Let us go through your books. Let's share it. Let's see what we believe you lost. All right. Before the court ruling, 20 cents on a dollar, now 40 to 45%. You said probably will go higher.
Probably 60 it'll cap out, I'm guessing.
We told you about that one investment firm. Other investment firms that purchased claims are King Street Capital Management and Anchorage Capital Advisors. Each manage roughly $30 billion. Another, Fulcrum Capital, that specializes in special situations and distressed debt investing.
Yeah.
So here we go.
Yeah.
It's going to be a mess.
It's on.
Yep.
This is Red Eye Radio on Westwood One.